Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey from IGN US here with IGN Australia's Luke Riley. Hey. And if the branding behind us, as well as the car shirts we are both sporting, didn't make it obvious enough, we're actually, we've convened halfway around the world, just met together halfway around the planet, here at Playground Games in merry old England to check out the very awesome Forza Horizon 2. This is the first ign-first. We're bringing it to you all month long. We're going to have a ton of information on this fascinating new game. I mean, I know you've reviewed, you love the original Forza Horizon.
Massive fan of the first one.
I go way back with Forza as well. It's just been it's evolved into such a phenomenal series. And give me your gut reaction, Luke, on what we've seen here today.
Oh, I'm just 100% impressed. Like, I was a huge fan of the first Horizon. I really tapped into that. The kind of spirit of driving, the joy of just bombing around in a car. And, the Colorado was, it provided a great sort of environment to do that. But with Horizon 2 in Southern Europe, it just taps into that kind of like Top Gear fantasy of you watch these guys threading through like the Italian countryside in these sort of Italian supercars.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do that. And this is the game that provides me the opportunity to do that. And it's brilliant.
We've all been wanting weather and nighttime stuff forever, and it's here now. And it's just seeing the rain and seeing the way it awesome. It beads off the paint. Made me super happy on the tech side.
Everything about like the headlights, the way they illuminate the countryside, and just how what was impressed me was how dark everything is outside of the city. So
yes, as it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you're inside of a town and you have the street lamps that are all discrete lighting sort of objects.
Yeah.
And then you leave the city, you leave those little towns, and it's just pitch dark, pitch black, and it's just everything is just illuminated by the headlights.
Yeah.
And I mean that leads into the stars in the sky, which are apparently
accurate. We're told they're
accurate.
Yeah. That's like, apparently they hire astronomers at Playground Games as well.
But yeah, there's a lot of credibility. Like, everything about this world just sort of just oozes believability.
It's true. It's built on science.
Yeah.
I really liked, it seems like almost a dumb throwaway thing, but just being able to veer off the road and just go drive through a vineyard was kind of cool.
We didn't touch on that. That's a big change. Like in the first Horizon, where I never felt restrained in the first Horizon. Like, it entirely logical to drive these cars around on the road. There were parts of the world where you could smash through a breakable fence and drive through a golf course, for instance. I recall that. In this case, it's like, if you can see it and you can get your car over it, then you can just drive through the countryside, drive through a vineyard.
For me, the other key point, I assumed this would be the case, and it certainly is. I've been a very vocal proponent of how drivatars changed racing games with Forza 5. I had played a bunch of Forza 5 at launch, but then in the course of my job, really, of just covering all the Xbox One games, I kind of set Forza 5 aside. But then when I started getting all these tweets and emails on our podcast about, oh, your drivatar ran me off the road and he's such an a-hole, and oh, look, I beat your time, here's a picture. It actually got me back, like it drew me back into playing more of Forza Motorsport 5, and they are here. The drivatars are in Forza Horizon 2, and they, we didn't really get to see a super real-world version of it because, there's just a handful of developers
but it's interesting
in there today.
To hear about, how the drivatar in Horizon 2, it sounds like it's had the same effect on the racing as it did in Forza 5. So suddenly you've got opponent cars that are controlled sort of by drivatar going 3 wide into corners,
right?
And taking like really aggressive and unconventional sort of lines to overtake people, and that changed racing in Forza 5 for me.
Yeah,
and it made it so much more reactive, and it's like I can't predict what this guy's going to do. And if that's going to be the case in this open world, it's pretty. It's pretty exciting to think about the possibilities of how drastic an effect that will have on racing in an open world game.
Yeah, and they're doing stuff like one button. You're always one button away from being online. Your friends' drivatars are always around. You can jump right into an actual online game seamlessly while never stopping the car. It's like I was kind of reminded of Test Drive Unlimited way back in the early 360 days. Had a lot of sort of some of these similar ideas, but just very ambitious, didn't quite nail them. But here, it's like all of that has come to fruition in an open world scenario, along just building off of what Horizon did and what Forza Motorsport 5 did, and it's I'm just I lived in Arizona for a while, so I'm pretty sick of desert. So the European setting does it for me so much more than Horizon 1's Colorado setting did.
Genuinely excited to hear that it was set in Southern Europe, because living in Australia, like nothing is like Southern Europe. We have nothing like that in Australia. Australia isn't there's buildings in Southern Europe, I presume, are 10 times older than like any building in Australia.
Yeah.
It's you mentioned test drive, and that, to be fair to it, was a game kind of ahead of its time in a lot of areas. But I did feel like Horizon kind of took that and sort of ran with it. The first Horizon.
Absolutely.
This one, I always played test drive that was an entirely solo experience for me, and I was obviously playing it wrong. But this one, the complete lack of barrier between solo play and online play, and it's this one button, and then there's this like a short vignette of your car driving exactly where you left it, and then it picks up again immediately where you just were, but everything's suddenly synced in an online world.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of Xbox record that worthy moments in Forza Horizon 2, and if I just happen to do that to your Xbox, I apologize. So this is IGN First. We are covering Forza Horizon 2 all month long. So for all things Forza Horizon 2, you're already in the right place right here at IGN.